What's up, guys? Today, I am going to share with you my 21 years experience and a few things I've learned in wholesaling in 82 minutes. So, we are going to start the clock now. My name is Rick Ginn, and we are live. So, this is recorded. You can come back to it anytime. I have been wholesaling, almost embarrassed to admit it, for 21 years. And I've learned a thing or two in 21 years, and I want to share with you today. And here's what we're going to do. Um, Make sure you use the comments, introduce yourself, let us know what market you're in. And these are people that you should be connecting with, you should be creating relationships with. And why not? Because we all want to talk about wholesaling. So, first thing I want to do is invite everybody. If you want to do a one on one live, that's right, free one on one live. You don't have to pull out your credit card, you don't have to go through the guru hoops and jumps. In fact, most gurus will never answer your questions live because they lack the ability to lose their ego. And honestly, that would be probably pretty scary because most of them haven't done wholesaling in a very long time. So, what I'm going to do is go into the comments and I'm going to put it in here first come, first serve. And if you want to jump on it live, we will do that. And let's jump on it. So we're talking about 21 years of wholesaling knowledge in 82 minutes. How do I come up with this topic? Because I've done it. I do it. I'm still doing it. It's so funny. I love how people talk about wholesaling in the past tense, and that's the farthest thing from it. So here's the thing is I had to like randomly just brainstorm what was most important. And I didn't put them in a necessary order. So we're going to kind of hop around and we will expand on each one of these. So I will tell you this right now. First thing you have to understand is you got to make wholesaling your must. Too many of you are like, well, if this happens, or if that happens, or if I can just get that one marketing piece, or if I can just take down one deal, I'll go in the business full time and I'll stop all the other distractions. I'm sorry, guys. Until you make it your absolute must, it's not going to happen. Think about it. What's a must in your life? I guarantee you guys eat dinner every night. Why? Because you make it a must. Because if you don't eat it, you don't feel good. You get super hungry. You're cranky and you can't get things done. You made it a must. Is it a requirement to eat dinner? Absolutely not. Another one. What's another must? You brush your teeth every night before you go to bed or when you get up in the morning. Hopefully you do it at least twice. The good ones do it 3 times a day. Now, why do you brush your teeth? Because you've made it a certainty, a must. If you do not brush your teeth, you do not go to bed. So until you start thinking about wholesaling in that same magnitude, you're going to struggle with it. You guys use words like, I'm going to try. If it doesn't work out, I'll go back to my old job. It's a disaster to do wholesaling that way. And if you're doing it that way, you're doing yourself a massive disservice. In fact, guys, make it your must. Stop talking about, I talked to some people yesterday, they've been in and out of wholesaling for 4 years, which means you do wholesaling when you think it's convenient and it's easy. And when wholesaling gets tough, you get out. You can't do it. You're guaranteed to have tough days in wholesaling. The difference between what most people do in wholesaling that are successful, like me and Zach and countless hundreds of thousands of others, is they show up every day no matter what happens. And if you can subscribe to that theory, you'll do fine. But the minute you have a tough day and you just want to quit, it's too easy to do it. In fact, working for yourself, because most of you aren't disciplined or you haven't had the ability to be an entrepreneur in yourself, you can't just fire yourself. You have to show up to work every day. You have to be your toughest boss and your toughest worker at the same time. You've got to make wholesaling your must. Now, I will tell you this. Where did I put that one? Well, let's just rip through these because I have no set. This is one I've learned early on in wholesaling. No seller motivation, no wholesale deal. I could make a t-shirt for this, guys. It is fact. It is not my opinion. It is fact. If you want great wholesale deals, If there is not any type of seller motivation, meaning the house hasn't run down or the seller needs to sell fast, you are not going to get a good deal. Now, there are a few exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, you give me 100 potential deals, I guarantee the best ones will be from motivated sellers. Motivated house, motivated seller, or a combination of both. Guys, I'm telling you right now, I've tried this every which way. This is one of the main reasons I do not go on MLS and play that stupid game. It doesn't mean I haven't done deals on MLS. They're the exception, not the rule. MLS just makes most gurus feel good. They'll teach their employees how to do it. They'll teach all the younger people how to do it. Why? Because it's easy. It sounds really good in theory, and like people will work with you, and you don't get cussed out and hung up on. But that's not how wholesaling works. In fact, I'm here to tell you, if you're not getting cussed out, hung up on, or tell you to go to some foreign planet, you are not doing wholesaling. By calling realtors on MLS, unless you want to be a fix and flip guy, you are wasting your time. You're not going to get a good deal. You're going to have to put up a massive deposit with a tiny inspection period, and you're going to have to fund the deal yourself because it's not going to be assignable. So me and Zach have never taught you to go on MLS, and I'm here to tell you today, you have got to find the seller's motivation. Without a seller's motivation, there's no such thing as a deal. In fact, when I talk to you guys, I do the one-on-ones. Whenever we're working on a deal, the first thing I ask you is, what is the seller's motivation? And if you don't know, we're probably not going to have a conversation very long because we're both wasting our time when we get it. So you've got to understand that. Now, for those of you who are dealing with government lists, just because they're free does not mean they're easy. In fact, I'm here to tell you, if you can get half the government list you request for, I'm proud of you. You did great. But here's what most of you do. The minute you get resistance, you retreat. So whenever someone say, hey, can I get that list? And they go, no. Your job's not to walk away and then go on to the next office. Your job is to hang in there. How do you do that? It's real simple. You guys, I've pretty much coined this phrase, hands down. Overcome resistance with persistence. It still holds true today. And if you understand that, you can overcome any objection you want in life. In fact, the people that really want stuff in life, they hang in there. They stick around till they get exactly what they want. It doesn't mean be a bully. It doesn't mean to be pig-headed. I'm just telling you, you can't just walk away when you get the word no. Some of the greatest love stories in America or across the world is because someone didn't take no for an answer. Why? Because if you really want something in life, you got to keep going for it. Now, you got to learn how to talk to people. You got to learn how to build rapport and connect with people. But I'm telling you guys, it is important that you just don't roll over. Overcome resistance with persistence. It's always worked in my wholesaling business. This is one of my staple rules. If you guys hear me enough, especially if you go over to freewholesaling.com, I will always harp on this. Now, we've talked about making it a mere must. Here's one that just drives me nuts. And most of you are guilty of this. If you want to admit it on the air or not, it's completely up to you. Practice, practice, practice. You have to practice your craft in wholesaling. Now, a lot of people go, is this the sales process, Rick, I have to learn? No. You have to learn how to talk and engage people. So rule number one, you got to learn how to build rapport. If you want to learn how to do that, go over to freewholesaling.com. Then you're going to have to learn how to qualify people using MCTP. Once again, freewholesaling.com. I know I'm a broken record, but my goal is to incite enough of you to get into wholesaling to make a major change in your life. And you've got to understand it. If you do not practice, and what do I mean by practice? It means there's only 6 objections you get in wholesaling. There's 6, guys. And here's the thing is, you'll hear them over and over and over and over again. They never stop coming at you. And after a while, you can either practice how to overcome these objections, or you can just sit there and do your uhs, you can stutter, or you can tuck your tail between your legs and walk away. If you practice before you deal with sellers, you will be more confident in delivering your answers. There's nothing worse when a seller comes at you hard and you don't know how to answer them, and you just sit there like a white blank face on your face. Now, this isn't sales 101. It's just having the confidence to know the answer. So if you've ever taken a test and you know the answer to the question, you answer it confidently and quickly. It's the same thing in wholesaling. So how do I do that? You have to practice it. You have to keep going on and practice, 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 practice. The more you practice, the better off you're going to do. I'm willing to say anybody wants to do a role play with me on a cold call, anything like that, I can tell right off the bat who's practiced and who hasn't. And I'm telling you, 85% of the people never practice it. I'll just figure it out when I get there. Zach told me that when he first started wholesaling. He got a rude wake-up call on that. I got a rude wake-up call. And I'm telling you, who do you practice with? I don't know. Your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, Rick, Zach, somebody on this live stream. For God's sakes, get some help. And you have to practice. If you go, oh, it makes me nervous. If you think you're nervous in front of me or one of your family members, wait until you get in front of a seller. It will be tough. So I've got to instill in you the understanding of you have to practice, practice, practice. Allen Iverson said it over and over. He's just like, we talking about practice, man. Yeah, we are. You've got to practice. Basketball players do it. Football players do it. Baseball players do it. Our skill set is no different than what any of these other sports are. We just deal with houses and wholesaling as opposed to anything else. So you've got to understand that. So practice, practice, practice. If I call somebody out and let's do a role play, I can tell within 15 seconds if you've ever practiced your craft. Now, some of you have practiced on your sellers, and that's fine, but it's going to get very expensive because when you lose confidence, if the seller loses confidence in you, you're going to actually lose the deal, and it sucks. And I don't want that to happen to you. So now I'm going to go through my 4-piece minimums. 4-piece minimums that are like the Bible in wholesaling. If you do not get this down, it is not going to work. And actually, before I do that, I am going to tell you, you've got to understand the fundamentals of wholesaling. This section is going to go through the fundamentals of wholesaling. I'm telling you right now, if you don't understand the fundamentals of wholesaling, here's what's going to happen. God forbid you get traction in a good market, whatever. And it doesn't matter if it's a good or bad market. Those are speculators. You never call a market good or bad. Some are just easier and some are harder. What happens is if you go back from 2016, actually 2015 to 2021-22, inventory went just off the shelf. There was no inventory left. Inflation ramped up and the cost of real estate went through the roof. In fact, people were contracting properties at 90, 95% of ARV, and they had people standing in line to buy properties. And you know what? You guys thought these people were so successful. They're so good at wholesaling. It's absolutely amazing. They weren't. They were nothing but speculators. And speculators always get caught whole in the bag. I watched countless gurus say they got killed in 2022. Guys, if you do wholesaling, you can't get killed. You can't. You basically minimize your risk to almost zero, and you maximize your reward. So how can you get killed in wholesaling? Unless you break the law or you become a speculator, you don't lose in wholesaling. And I'm here to tell you from 2015 to 2021-22, the speculators came out in the thickest groves I've ever seen in wholesaling. In fact, it was actually comical. And now I look at it, here we are in 2024 through the first quarter. All these people that were just major influencers. I have a multi-million-dollar corporation. They're all gone. They've exited. They don't know how to make money because here's the secret. They did not understand the fundamentals of wholesaling. If you don't understand the fundamentals of wholesaling, it's just a matter of time before you're out of the game. So I've been doing this since 2003. I got caught in a couple little speculation games, and I learned real quick that wholesaling is where I make my money. It's where I make my bread, everything I do. And I will occasionally do some fix and flips for very special properties, but I know that's a hobby. I don't rely on it. I hit swing for the park. Sometimes I make a fortune. Sometimes I lose my butt, but that has nothing to do with my wholesaling business. My wholesaling business finds the properties for the deepest discount. And then you choose if you want to take a property or two to take it all the way. Maybe you keep it for a rental. Maybe you do a fix and flip. It's whatever you want to do. All I'm saying is those rock stars from 2015, 16, you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. Go look at their YouTubes, everything. Nobody follows them anymore. You know why? Because they don't know what they're doing. They fully admit they got their butt kicked in 2022, and now they're trying to start over. Listen, if you do wholesaling correctly, you never start over. You just keep doing the same boring tasks over and over because boring means money. End of story. So let's talk about the rules for the fundamentals of wholesaling. If you get anything in today's live and you can understand this, I'm telling you, it'll make a tremendous difference on how good of a wholesaler you're going to be. So the first thing you've got to understand, let me go back here. Where did I put it? Direct. Okay. Connect with motivated sellers only. You're literally wasting your time. You are never going to convince someone to sell your house, sell a house to you. It doesn't work that way. If it was that way, I would be on MLS pounding everybody all day long. If I call 1,000 people on MLS, maybe 5 or 10 will want to talk to me. But at the end of the day, I'm probably not going to get very far. And do I want to spend 500 hours trying to find 2 or 3 people that want to like cut me a deal? There's better ways to spend your time and money. And I'm telling you, make sure you're dealing with motivated sellers. Hey, Rick, what's a motivated seller? Here's the key distinct difference. You ready? Find people that need to sell their house. Rick, I need to sell my house. Let me ask you this. When you go to the grocery store and there's no food left in your fridge, you need to go to the grocery store. Have you ever just wanted to go to the grocery store? I do. I can buy cookies. I can get a cake. I can get like a nice hefty steak. I can get chips. Those are wants. But when I get my staple products, it's need. It's no different in real estate. The difference is between me and a realtor is I look for people that absolutely need to sell their house and they're looking for help solving a problem. A realtor is going to help someone who wants to sell their house. And when you want something, someone's got to sell to make it work. And they usually swing for the fences when they do it. So if you understand that, ask yourself whenever you're in wholesaling, am I talking to a motivated seller? If you don't know the answer to the question, you better get there and find out as soon as possible. Otherwise, you're literally wasting your time. So I know there's somebody watching this that is spending countless hours on MLS because some guru taught it to them. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it is not the fundamentals of wholesaling. You've got to understand they've got to be motivated sellers. Next one, you have to be direct to the seller. Sorry, I don't get deals from third-party and realtors. It makes for great content. It sounds good, but you never get a deal. Do you ever notice that whenever a guru does a, peer-to-peer agent call or whatever it is, they do it because they don't want a confrontation. I think it's hysterical. I'm not scared of a confrontation at all. I just go through people, but I'm going to look for people from government lists that have high motivation to sell. Government lists is just one way. There's a million ways to do it. Driving for dollars, reverse driving for dollars, going to local networking events, urea events. But you have to understand, if you're not direct to seller, you cannot have an emotional connection with the seller. And when you're not direct to seller, you're nothing but a number and it's transactional. You might as well go to McDonald's and order the number 3 off the menu. I'm telling you right now, guys, if you don't understand that, I don't know how you are ever going to get a deal. So direct to seller. So when you guys come on here and go, Rick, I've been talking to this real estate agent and we're close, but it's no cigar. The reason you're not getting anywhere because you're not connecting emotionally or directly. Whenever you got a third party, the real estate agent's job's what? To get the highest price possible. So they got to find people that want to buy the house. And that's the reason I always go direct to seller. In fact, I'm telling you, if you're not direct to seller, you're wasting 98% of your time, period. End of story. I've tried it every which way, guys. 21 years. If you're not direct to seller, you're most likely not going to get a great wholesale deal. There are a few exceptions, but that's for the savvy investor that's got a lot of time and a lot of expertise and a lot of properties under their belt. So, direct to seller. Guess what I'm going to say next? This is rudimentary, but you got to understand the fundamentals of wholesaling. Off-market properties. What does off-market mean? It means there's property that aren't on the public internet for anyone to bid. People go, well, Rick, what about FSBOs, for sale by owners? Unfortunately, those are, I consider them on-market properties. Some other people consider them off-market properties. Listen, if it has pictures, you have the seller's name, you have a phone number, and you have an address and an ask price, that is an on-market property. End of story. I'm telling you right now. Why do I not want an on-market property? Because it's going to get, odds are, if it's a decent property, it's going to get bid up to its maximum potential. And my opinion, FSBOs, you can get deals from them. I've done plenty of them, but sometimes they're even more difficult than realtors. That's the little secret you need to know. Why? Because they don't think they need to pay the realtor, but they don't want the discount of the 6% with the realtor. And if you understand that, you understand why I want you to look for off-market properties. It's so simple. Guys, this is the fundamentals. This is the stuff that's not gone over with you guys. So many influencers try to do this technique and that technique and do this and do that. Guys, you've got to understand you have to do it this way. So, are we clear on this? Connect with motivated sellers, direct to sellers, off-market properties. Now, let's walk into this. You ready for this? For those of you who know me, you know exactly what I'm saying. When it comes to comping a property, we never comp a property till we have found the motivation. Why? Because if you comp every property that you come across in wholesaling, you will literally burn out. Realtors comp properties. We don't comp them. We comp them when we're getting close to writing a contract. Why? Because if the seller's not going to cut us a great deal on it, why am I going to waste my time comping the property? People ask me all the time, Rick, can you comp this property for me? Rick, can you comp this property? I am not a realtor. Here's the secret, guys. I comp very few properties. I do not waste my time. The reason you guys are comping property is because you're uncomfortable, you're nervous, and you're scared. Admit it. I know I was at that stage. But the reality is you're going to overcomp a property. How do I overcomp a property? It's simple. If you do this, if you spend more than 10 minutes comping a property, you're literally wasting your time. You're acting like you're a realtor. You have the high side of the comp, you have the low side. Take those two, throw it out somewhere in the middle and stick to the conservative side. Do not try to stretch like a realtor does. In fact, I'm here to tell you, if you spend more than 10 minutes comping, you're trying to find a value to justify why you're going to overpay for the property. So if you stick with it in less than 10 minutes, you stay out of trouble. Because here's the reality of life. If you search long and hard enough for anything, you will find it. I don't know about you, but I don't want to work for free in wholesaling. And I've stuck to this rule. In fact, until I know if the seller is going to take a contract from me, I don't comp it. That's why I don't worry about it. I focus all my energy on building rapport and building a relationship with the seller. I don't sit there and comp. You guys comp way too much. That is realtor land. I don't care. And remember, a great wholesaler is looking to buy for a deep discount. So your comp doesn't even have to be close to perfect. You're just getting a rough idea what the ARV is, less the repairs, figure out what kind of fee you want to make and move on with that. It's that simple. But so many of you guys want to go, the properties were 220. So I'm going to offer them 200. Okay. Try it out. Let me know how it works out. You're literally wasting your time when they do that. I'm telling you over and over. So the reason why, which moves me on to my next, probably one of my biggest rules. And guys, we're still under the fundamentals of wholesaling. You ready? Here we go. If you use these techniques, You don't have to worry about overcomping a property. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just go over to freewholesaling.com. Go for no. The reason is go for no is a technique. It's basically a low ball technique, but there is a psychology that goes along with it. So keep in mind, so many of you guys try to figure out what your MAO is, right? Everybody know what the MAO is. That's your maximum allowable offer. It's ridiculous. So if you go, okay, the property was 220, so the max I can offer is 205. And guess what? So you make that offer to your seller, and the seller goes, nah, that ain't gonna work out. The seller goes, man, they offer me a lot more than I ever thought they were. Maybe I should go up in my price. And you start chasing the seller, and you create this. You're chasing after the seller, and you need to do it the opposite way. So remember, guys, I always tell you this story with my dog, which he's not in the studio today. Is whenever I used to open my patio door, I have like a big yard, and the dog takes off and runs. He sprints till he like runs out of gas, and then I call him in. I said, come on in. His name's Sebastian. I said, Sebastian, come on in, and he just looks at me, and he just starts running away from me. And when I first didn't understand what was going on, I would go try to get him. I'd try to grab him by the collar. I'm like, get your butt in here. Get in here now. And I learned the more I chased him, the more he ran. And finally, one day I just had it. I just went in that patio door and I just let it slam shut and I walked away. Within 5 seconds, he was at that door begging to get in. And that's what you guys need to do. If you keep chasing your sellers with an MAO, what are you going to do? When they say no, you have no room to negotiate. You've set an unreal expectation. And the reason why you guys do it, I know exactly why you did it because I've been there, is because you want certainty. You want an absolute yes. And I'm here to tell you, you want to do the complete opposite. Nobody teaches these methods, and I don't understand why. I've been doing this 21 years. A lot of people go, well, that's never going to work as a new wholesaler. I implore you, I'm telling you, the go for no is highly effective for a new wholesaler because you can't screw it up. The number one mistake most newbie wholesalers makes is they over offer on the properties. And then they run around, they get cash buyers. Cash buyer goes, I can't pay that much. That's ludicrous. You got to get a reduction. Oh my God. So what seemed to be easy is now hard. So the go for no gets the hard conversation out and up front, out of the way. And then once you get a deal, it's very easy to sell to a cash buyer. So I'm going to teach you a method. Don't learn about your MAO, learn about your LAO, your least allowable offer. It's simple, guys. If I have a property worth 200, I'm going to offer slightly above half of it. Now, you have to consider repairs when you do this. So if the property is worth 200, I'll just say, listen, what if I could offer you 120, 125? What do you think is going to happen when you do that? Oh my God, I'm going to get yelled at. I'm going to get kicked out of there. Listen, that is a risk, and welcome to the real business world. But here's what's most likely going to happen. If you took your time to build a rapport, they're going to give you a counter, and it might be nice, it might be mean, but you're going to get a subconscious counter, and they're going to go, Rick, I can't take anything less than 135 on. I already spoke to my wife. That's our bottom line number. Bingo. I just saved you 2 weeks of BS back and forth, wasting time. And here's the other thing. You guys do your MAO because you're trying to figure out what the seller, what they will take for the property. And it's the wrong way to do it. Here's the thing is you're trying to get in your seller's head. You're not there. And I learned this the hard way when I was younger. I made someone an offer. I was 155 on the property. And I remember at the closing table, he sat down with me and he literally said this. He goes, Rick, I would have sold it to you for like 105. And I just sat there with my mouth open, flabbergasted. He goes, you offered a number. It was substantially higher than what was in my head, and I just took it. Now, I still made money on the deal. But what I learned is I need to get a no, because a no will ultimately lead to a yes and a win-win wholesale deal, meaning my seller wins, my buyer wins, and I win too. Technically a win-win-win. So guys, does that make sense? You need to understand this part. It's absolutely crucial you understand it. The go for no has made me so much money in wholesaling. And people are like, oh, that's so sharky and stuff. No, no. Listen, go for no doesn't work unless you build an amazing connection and rapport with people. So if you're just going to go, listen, what's the least amount you take for the property? I'll give you 50 grand. It's worth 500. You're literally wasting your time. So there is an art to it. If you want to learn how to do it, go over to freewholesaling.com. Me and Zach teach you in detail for it. Now, the next one, which is a really, really big one for me, really big one. And this one, honestly, was probably one of the hardest lessons I had to learn in wholesaling. It goes just like this. You got to learn the art of detachment. So just how I shared the story about my dog with you is you got to go, okay, if he's not going to come in, I'm just going to leave him out there. And so when I write a contract, I want them to accept my contract, but I'm not dependent if you accept my contract. Like, I'm still going to go home to my family and have a wonderful day, no matter what the outcome of it is, because you're going to write a lot of contracts in this business and people will keep you on pins and needles. Once you write that contract and you've put your best foot forward, let go. It doesn't mean you don't run your business, but it doesn't mean the quality of your day is dependent if that contract is accepted or not. You don't need permission to be happy. You can do it anytime, any way you want. And if you're dependent on your next contract to be extremely ecstatic and happy in life, you're going to get killed in wholesaling. You go out and put your best foot forward and you fight like a dog, and then you come home and you take care of the people that love you the most. So many wholesalers I see, they whine and they pout. This contract fell through, that. Instead of them taking accountability of why it fell through, they just dwell on the situation. I was one of them. And I'm here to tell you, you can't do it. Right now, at any given time, I've got between 10 and 15 contracts just sitting out there. Do I want them all signed? Absolutely. The odds of them all being signed, probably slim to none. Now, if I can just get half of them signed, I'm happy. This is the art of wholesaling. And here's the problem. When you only have one contract and you put all your eggs in one basket, that's when you get really disappointed in this business. So you have to learn right here the art of detachment. I'm going to put my best foot forward no matter what the outcome is. I'm going to have a positive mindset and I'm going to be a happy person. If you are constantly dependent on that next high of getting a contract, you're going to have times you don't get it. You could have months without getting a contract. It's happened to me. It happens to everybody. And what I'm saying is put your best foot forward, bust your butt, and walk away, go and take care of your family, and then come back the next day and fight. This is just how it works. Like today, I went out fishing this morning. It was just terribly rough out there. It was a tough day. We wound up getting some really good fish at the end of the day, but I mean, it was a long 10-hour day. Now, Monday's kind of my fishing day, so that's why I do wholesaling. But what I'm saying is you can give up, but you have to get up and get up the next day. So if you had a bad day before, let it go. Start over the new day with a good attitude and move forward. And so many people are so dependent on like the outcome of a contract, it kills them. And you've got to stop doing that. So here's the next one, guys. You ready? This goes right along the line. Let me get that off there. Avoid sprinters. You guys know what sprinters are? Sprinters are people that look shiny, they look good, and it almost seems too good to be true. Because here's the reality. If you're in a race and there's a sprinter next to you, ask yourself, are you running a sprint or a marathon? You already know I run a marathon. I've been doing it 21 years. The problem with sprinters is they will cheat. They will do whatever they have to do to look good in the moment. And the problem is life is not like Facebook and Instagram every minute of the day. There are rough times we all go through. But sprinters always make everything so perfect. You guys know who the sprinters are. They're the people that were just sensations on the internet for a year or two and then fizzled out. Why? Because they didn't understand the fundamentals of wholesaling. Speculators. That's what happens. So what I want you to do is train for a wholesale marathon. And if you really want to survive this game, I see so many sprinters in this business. In fact, the entire wholesaling industry is dominated by sprinters. They come and go all the time. They're big one day and then they're tiny. And then they fade away. They get big when speculation comes about and they hit. And then when they don't, they can't make it happen. And that's what you've got to understand. If you want to really run a marathon, you have to run your race. So here's what happens when you're sprinting, you're always looking left and right to the people next to you, the people on the internet, fellow wholesalers, I don't know, Zach, Rick, anybody else out there, and you try to keep up with them, but you have no idea what their capability is. You have no idea what they're doing. You have no idea if it's even sincere. So what you have to do is run a marathon. A marathon runner only fights against their personal best record. They don't care who passes them because most sprinters are going to fall on their face and then you're going to walk. Actually, you're just going to run and trample all over them. And I use this analogy all the time because if you want to be in this business the long run, you got to think long term. If you do short term thinking stuff and you want to look good temporary on the internet, you can look good temporary on the internet, but you're just going to draw the wrong kind of trouble. We are in a society where everybody wants to make themselves feel so much bigger than what they actually are. It drives me nuts. So don't fall victim of this. If you're trying to keep pace with a fellow person that's in a Facebook group or an Instagram, and go, he did 15 deals last month. People who do wholesaling based on the number of deals they do, it's extremely misleading. You know, in certain states, like even like Ohio and some of the Midwestern, I have friends that do 20, 30 deals a month. I still make more than they do. Why? Because it's all about total profit. How much did you spend marketing? How big's your staff? And what do you walk away with at the end of the day? That's all I care about. You can do these big boy stats. Everyone wants to talk about gross. The problem with gross, it never tells the truth. I watched a former, used to be a wholesaler, come on the internet and say he's worth just a tad bit under $1 billion. Guys, there's not, I'll be honest with you, I have not run into, actually, I've met one or two billionaires in my entire life by complete accident. They are rare people to come across. And when someone says they're a wholesaler and they're like, it's an astronomical number and I can't stand it. So be very careful who you're working with. Train to be a long-time marathon wholesaler because that's how you last in this business. So once you get going, this is easy to do in the beginning, but once you start getting some credibility in your business, most wholesalers struggle with this. You ready? You've got to lose your ego. Ego takes out more wholesalers than any other single thing. Why? They just think they know it all. And once you know it all, you're done. And then they want to look so good on the internet. They want to look so good on social media. They will double down, triple down, lie, and do anything what they do just to save face. And I got humbled early in my career. I had a market correction, thought I knew everything, and it hit me hard. And I learned that wholesaling was the way to constantly make money in this business. And right now, I don't care about my ego. You'll never see the kind of car I drive because it's not sexy. I'll never show you my house because it's my home. It's where my family lives. How much I got to invest in my house is not going to help you. I have a nice house. I live on the water. I don't care. But to me, it is not a status symbol. Remember, I don't have a course to sell you, so I'm not going to do that. The third one is I'm not going to show you a fancy watch collection. Do I own some nice watches? Yeah, but I don't care. When I go out to a nice dinner, I do that. I don't sit here on the internet and go, oh my God, look at this watch. Look at this. And by the way, the watch thing is faked more than anything else you guys will see on the internet. Tell them to whip out a receipt, show them where they got it from, or tell them to go do a live event and let's look at the watch together. So, and most people who have to flash their real estate over and over, anybody can lease a place out. Show me the deed. If you're going to show it off, let's see the deed. Make sure you own it. And let's get accurate numbers. I saw someone the other day, really young kid saying, I pay $25,000 a month for a condo. I'm like, you don't pay 25 grand for a condo. I saw the condo on the internet. Why do we have to stretch the truth so bad? Every time a truth is stretched, I know there's a big fat course sale coming. So watches, real estate. What's the other one? Cars. Guys, cars. Drive a Lambo, drive a McLaren, drive a Bentley. I don't I used to be in the car business a long time ago. If you're buying a car you can't afford and you have payments on it, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. It's a depreciating asset. If you really learned about wholesaling, you would buy an appreciating asset like a house, a multifamily, an apartment, and then you can write off the depreciation and you can recapture it and still make money because the appreciation is going to offset the depreciation and it is a legal deductible expense. That's smart. Someone buying a $200,000 or $300,000 Lambo, if that's the only way you can sell courses, knock yourself out. I think it's absolutely hysterical. Guys, I drove around in a Honda Accord for 12 years. I bought it new. I kept it 12 years. At the end, I had to push it in the dealership with the check engine light. I don't care. My car's not going to make me rich. Do I like a nice car? Absolutely. Do I need one? No. I don't. I rather, why would you put 300 grand into a Lambo when you can buy a house that will pay you every day, every month for the rest of your life, and it'll get incrementally more each year? Why wouldn't you do that? So lose your ego. That's the main thing. Now, here's what you'll have to understand. Since we're talking about lose your ego, let's just get this out of the way right now. Most gurus flip students, not houses. It's a fact. I'm not making this up. Am I biased about it? No, it's a fact. Find me a guru that doesn't sell a high-end course. And every one of them do it. End of story. Why? It's just easier. In fact, most gurus who sell courses, a predominant part of their income comes from the course sales. In fact, more than 80% on average income comes from course sales. That's why they do it. Think about it. They can take 1,000 students. If they charge 10,000 a pop, what's that come to? Think about this. 10,000 times 1,000 students. That's $10 million. Bingo. Hell of a lot easier in fit properties. It's much more scalable. And this is why you see the problem. Why is it so widespread in wholesaling? Because, guys, we're all looking for that opportunity to break free. I'm here to tell you, wholesaling is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's get out of debt, get freedom of your life, then get rich scheme. That's how it works. But most gurus are going to flip students. That's what they do because it's easy, because all they have to do is sell the dream. Most of them under-deliver. Ask any guru for at least a week to look at their course before you send them a dime. You will never get compliance on this, because then you're going to see what they're really selling. And 9 times out of 10, most people are going to be disappointed because the courses, it's all the hype and there's not much more going on there. So why we're doing this, I will tell you this. There's a lot of information. I forgot I had this much. I promise we're going to jump on the lives here. Marketing, and more marketing. That's what wholesaling is about. That's what I've learned over 21 years. You have to market till you churn blue. Marketing is your lifeblood. It is the blood in your veins of wholesaling. And if you don't market, you're a dead man or woman walking. If you don't understand this grasp, you won't last. You cannot do wholesaling without marketing. I see so many people come to wholesaling and they want to skip marketing. It doesn't work that way. Marketing is the niche. Marketing to find motivated sellers is why we don't sell. We spend so much energy and time on marketing to motivated sellers. Once we find them, we just guide them down the yellow brick road. It's that simple. This next one's really going to light you guys up. But I'm just telling you the truth because I've done this for 21 years. You're only doing 10% of your capacity. I promise you are. Test me on this. Hop on a live. I'll show you exactly why and how it is that way. Do you understand that? Because you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. I thought I was killing it when I started out wholesaling. I get a contract here, I get one there. I'd make a quick 10 grand. I remember once I made like 22,000 and I just got complacent. And I should have been doubling, tripling down, 10xing and going all in. But it was more money than I ever saw like in one time in my life. And I thought I've already made it to the hilltop. And the thing is, I was just crawling up the hill. And I could have made so much more money earlier in my career just because I thought I was doing so well. Guys, some of you are only making 20, 30 grand a year in your job. And when you get one check for 20, 30 grand, you think you're a millionaire instant and you won the lottery. Like you're just scraping the iceberg. The real art of wholesaling is doing it over and over and over again and getting that check. It is magical. And once you realize that, go, oh, I can do another deal. I can do another deal. You just keep going and you 10x your marketing, you 10x your effort. And before you know it, you have one hell of a business brewing. But I'm here to tell you, most people I've learned, they do about 10% of what they think they're actually capable of. Meaning if you did it 10 times, imagine what would happen in your life. You're thinking, well, Rick, that's a crap load of work. I'm sorry. It's the truth, guys. You've got to take it and run with it. And that's how you build momentum in wholesaling. I want you to get so busy, you're going to have to hire people. You're going to have to get a ton of help. That's how it worked with me. I got so in over my head, I couldn't go on appointments anymore. I couldn't answer my phones. I'm like, okay, I need some help here. But for my first 3 years, I ran at 10% of my capacity. And somebody finally sat down and goes, man, you could make so much more money if you would just really ramp it up. And we sat down and I showed them what my week looked like. They're like, you got to be kidding me. Like, you could do so much more. So how do I do that? How can we do like a 10x in wholesaling? Because you can 10x anything. If you don't believe me, go out and read Grant Cardone's 10x book. It's actually a really good book. I read that. I think it was back in 2011. 2011 is when I picked up. 2010, I found Grant Cardone. 2011, I read it. And he'll make you question like how hard you actually really work. And it's not about running around with your head cut off. That's not what it's about. It's about just working much, much smarter. So what you have to do is being uncomfortable is what I call the wholesaling home. When you're doing something 10x, it's going to make you very, very uncomfortable. Think back when you were in high school, or if you're in high school now, and think about a sport you participated in. And think back now, a lot of you guys are past that and you're still young, but think about how great of a football player or basketball player or a football player you could be if you massively applied yourself. Let's face it, we're young. We don't know what we're capable of. We're trying to fit in. And you go back and look, I could have completely dominated in high school football. I didn't practice hard enough. I didn't train hard enough. I didn't condition hard enough. And I didn't study the playbook hard enough. And I know that. I had a good time. I was decent. But I look back now, I was doing less than 10% of my capacity. And I was young, athletic, flexible. I was immature in the mind. And the sooner you can mature in your mind in wholesaling, like anything else, the better you can do. Which leads us to the next one. Ready? Expect rejection. You're going to get rejected in this business. So many of you guys come into wholesaling and you act like you're never going to get rejected. I guarantee you're going to get rejected. Once you expect it, it doesn't shock you anymore. You're going to get rejected more than you get accepted. Just like a baseball player. A successful baseball player bats at 25 to 30% at bats, they hit the ball. That means 7 out of 10 times they're striking out. That's a lot. It's crazy. Okay, I'm getting ready to wrap up. We're going to jump on the lives. The next one is you have to build consistency. Don't be the guy that goes to the gym and lifts weights like crazy for 4 hours one day, and then you come back a month later. I'd rather you take 15 minutes a day and just wrap it out. You can do a lot more damage if you show up every day in wholesaling. So we talked about 10xing earlier. The biggest piece you have to understand is you have to be extremely consistent. And when you start out wholesaling, you should be going 6 days a week. Rest on Sunday, whatever you want to do. But I'm just telling you, you have to get your reps in. Now, people always say to me, hey, but wait a minute. Doesn't wholesaling require sales experience? I don't have any sales experience. I don't care. I'm here to tell you, I came from a sales background. It does not apply to wholesaling. Sorry. The skill set you have to learn the most, number one, is how to connect with people, how to build rapport, and how to have conversations. That's an entire task. How do you do it? You have to learn to be authentic. I didn't put up authentic, but it should be up there. Authentic. You guys hate fake salespeople, and you know it. We all hate fake salespeople, right? I'm reading comments. So you got to be authentic with it. But I'm here to tell you, when I first did wholesaling, I didn't even try to sell it. I just tried to find motivated sellers. I tried to qualify them, and then I walked them down the yellow brick road to give them the path to help solve their problem. That's all I did. That's it. End of story. End of story. So you have to understand sales experience doesn't matter in wholesaling. I'll argue with anybody. I go find me the best wholesalers. They're not salespeople. They're people that understand how to connect with people, how to be authentic, and how to solve a problem for someone. Where in there did I say you got to sell? Do you have to be persistent? Yes. Do you have to follow up? Absolutely. But at no point does it say you have to be a great salesman. And so many people go, Rick, well, I can't do wholesaling because I'm not very good at sales. I don't care. Do you like connecting with people? You like talking to people? Do you like helping people and solve a problem? That's fine. The hardest part is going to be locating them. So number one, you have to learn to connect with people. Otherwise, my program doesn't work. And you need to go find like a guru that will teach you every trick in the book that's not going to work and take your money. Once you learn how to connect with people, you got to understand that is going to be the skill set. You're going to master marketing, which is the first thing we do at free wholesaling. And then once you do all that, then you're going to figure out how to negotiate with people. You're going to get better at time with it. And then when you do dispositions, you'll get more and more money because you know what to sell the properties for. And that's the order you learn wholesaling. There is no other order. So sales experience people, well, I have a sales training program for wholesaling. Great. You're about to be sold. You're going to get the crap sold out of you. You don't. You just need to be authentic and you need to learn how to connect with people organically and authentically. After that, you just learn how to negotiate. I teach you the go for no method. Why? Because it's simple and it works. Stop trying to get a yes on your first offer. That's what realtors do. A great wholesaler will go for a no because I want to find the bottom and then work my way up. The other way you guys do it is you try to find the upper tippy top of the offer. And if you don't get accepted on it, you have nowhere to go and you got to go find another motivated seller. And for that reason, it sucks. So here's my last one. This one's going to ring home. This is a tough love one. I'm just going to give it to you. Your excuses, nobody cares. Wholesaling doesn't care. Rick doesn't care. Zach doesn't care. Your mom might care. Your dad might care. But as forgiving and loving as wholesaling is, they bring in the tired, the weak. If you have a criminal past, you can still make wholesaling work. I'm sorry. I'm all about opportunity for people. People make mistakes. They screw up. But a lot of people in our business are saying, we got to get a license and we got to be certified and we got to do criminal background checks. Guys, listen, you can do this for every business. The reality is you're out there trying to help people and do great things. Then why not get paid for it? And I want you guys to absolutely understand this. Wholesaling does not care about your financial background. It doesn't care about your parents. It could care less what your education level is. And I know that's why it attracts a lot of you into wholesaling. But on the flip side, the minute you hit a funk in wholesaling or you're struggling and you start to whine because that's what you did in your previous job, wholesaling doesn't care. It just doesn't give a crap. It'll go on to the next person that's actually going to perform and do the job. So you've got to get this through your head. Your excuses, nobody cares. I'm not saying this to be mean. It is just the truth. So when you come on here or you talk to one of your fellow wholesalers and go, it's so tough to get a deal. It's so saturated. The market's so bad. Oh my God. Let the good cry out because it's not going to help you. No one's going to feel sorry for you. No one's going to help you. The only person that's going to help you is you. You've got to take accountability for what you're doing. You've got to understand that. So how do we help ourselves? How do we get started? The first thing you're going to do is go over to freewholesaling.com. It's on the bottom of your screen. And here's the best part. It's free. It has the most testimonials in the entire world for wholesaling. Not my fact. It is a given fact. It has hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that have used it. And my favorite is Google. You're going to get what you pay for. BS. You get what you work for. Number one, you got to get the truth. Wholesaling is not hard. We just make it super complicated. Why? Because that's how people get paid. It's complicated. You're going to have $10,000. I'll guide you through it. It's BS, guys. It is a simple skill set. Next thing is we give you the course. We just throw it out there. In fact, most gurus pretty much download our course because I see it copied word for word out there. And by the way, all gurus that download or not download our course that go into it, when you register, I get your IP address anyways. I can put two and two together. I am flattered by all the people that have accessed our course. I have nothing to hide from you. And I implore you to do the exact same thing. So if I give my course away, I don't ask for any money, and I truly want to help people get wholesale deals. Why? Because in the end, I do deals with the people I work with. And if I know my techniques work and I find people that are truly hungry and they want to bust their butt, why not make money together? And that's the name of the game. That's what we do. And this is why I teach this technique. Now, remember in the beginning, I told you I focus on being a marathon wholesaler. A sprinter will sell a quick and click course. They'll take their money and they'll disappear. I don't do that. And if you understand that, that's the difference in the game. In fact, I've been doing this part of this game, the free course, for over 4 years now. I was told I'd go away. You can't afford to do it. You can't. Guys, I make my money on wholesaling. I make my money on doing deals. This is a hobby to me and it's fun and I have a blast doing it and I generate a ton of leads. So I've done every type of lead generation. Social media was my final one to nail. And I have a great time working with my son because wholesaling has allowed me to develop a relationship, to work with my family on a day-to-day basis. And why? Because I got financially free and I got freedom of my time. And I spent a ton of time with my son. I also have a daughter. I spend a ton of time with my wife, and that's what it's all about. Whoever brought you to wholesaling, if it makes you a better person, God bless them. And I thank you for bringing them in here. But go over to freewholesaling.com. I'll show you how to get started. And I'm just going to give you the truth. And if you want to hop on a live, I'm going to tell you the truth. And that's what you guys need. So let's jump on here. And let me see who we can help out here. Mike, what's going on, man?
Hey, Rick. How you doing
man?
today?
I'm
Doing great.
fantastic,
Doing
man.
great. I appreciate everything you share. Like, it works like gold. Work in Rochester, New York, and I was able to find a way to get all the probates for Rochester County
Awesome.
that is in and Buffalo. And I'm
Uh-huh.
working on that. And I just went in, got FOIA requests for all the zip codes with the top cash buyers in it and
Mhm.
everything. So I'm really going hard. I haven't been doing as hard as I could have, but listening to this, I've definitely been pushing myself. Definitely been getting calls. Definitely been getting people telling me not to come on their properties. So you said you're going to get people that give me that. So I know I'm doing the wholesaling. And I've been in real estate for a while now. But coming across your stuff, I've made more progress and everything. But I definitely want to focus on the probates and work with you and Zach to do a JV on that and everything. I do have a couple people that are interested. One says because it was a probate that I got, was interested. He's like, give me a call back in like mid-June and everything.
Mhm.
So I want to know when's a good time to reach back out to him. And then I have another one where I did, because I've been doing the reverse driving for dollars, and the driving for dollars, I found another house and he told me call him back in July. So I feel like those are good potentials. And like I said, I definitely want to be your guy up in upstate New York and everything. So, but that's how everything is going. And like I said, I just don't know how I should follow up with the people that are interested, so I stay in the realm and everything.
Well, the key with a follow-up is just be authentic about it. And you can't be the guy who goes, hey, I'm just calling the follow-up, see if you're selling that house.
Okay.
Because it's like, so first of all, the one with the probate, I teach you guys a technique on how to buy the probate before the probate's completed. I've done it 236 times, by the way,
Hmm.
and it's still going up. Because the reality is, this is how it works. And if you don't believe me, work with your title company. I'll tell you is most people want to get the probate done, and they want to get the property out of their hair. Properties are expensive to carry. There's insurance. There's taxes. Sometimes there's a mortgage on it.
Well,
There's
I am
maintenance.
in a attorney state too, so just
It's not
I
going to
don't
make
have
a
a.
difference on it.
Okay.
And then you got utilities to do it. So most states make an exception because a house is the biggest asset usually in people's probates. Remember, this covers like bank accounts, automobiles, cars, boats, you name it, because a person who's passed away cannot transfer a title or a deed. So that's just how they came up with probate. The problem is sometimes people take over houses with big mortgages. It's a very expensive project, and a lot of probates take up to a year. And that
Mm-hmm.
can mean the difference of $20,000 to $100,000 to some people of what it's going to affect the estate. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, if the PR, the personal representative, wants to enter into a contract with someone like you or me, they can sign a contract. Once they agree on the price, you can give it to the lawyer. The title company will give them instructions, and they can file for a motion to liquidate the asset. The reason they do
Mm-hmm.
it, because it's in the best interest of the estate to do it, because if you hold that property another 6 months to a year, it could cost them another $50,000. Number two,
Right.
a lot of people take properties like they don't want it. Like they want to sell it, but like they don't want to make all the monthly payments, maintain the lawn, and do all that crap. And for that reason is I provide a service to everybody in probate. I go, what if I could show you how to sell the property before the probate's complete? Is that something you're interested in talking to me about? Now, what I'd like you to do is for number one, you got to get familiar with your New York State probate process. It's a little bit different in every state.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the United States. And then you have a title company you're working with yet?
Well, like I said, I can't get in touch with any title card. I have to go through a lawyer. Like I reach out to people about good title card, and they're like, it's an attorney state. Like when I went into the groups and stuff before I joined your wholesale
Mhm.
group, other groups are like, you don't deal with title company, you don't deal with title company, you deal with attorney. And I was like, all
Yeah,
right,
but you got to
fine,
understand the title company still either they work with a title company or
gotcha.
they own the title company attorney. So there has to be some customer service because the reality is lawyers are difficult people and they do hide behind receptionists.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're going to get and make fees off closings, they have to be accessible to the people. So they're
Gotcha.
going to have a staff. It doesn't always mean you're going to talk to the attorney. They usually just do the paperwork and show up to the closing. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of closings that go in New York. Like you got a lot of properties up there, like
Yeah.
20 some odd million. So I got to assume it's not like your typical lawyer that like, oh my God, unless like I pay them a big retainer fee, they're not going to talk to me. So talk
Yeah,
to the title.
I did meet a guy, sorry to interrupt. I did meet
Yeah.
a guy at a business network event that seemed like he's all about the wholesale because he was talking about assignments, and I spoke to him a little bit, and he does estates and everything. So I feel like he may be a good
Yeah.
match for me, but I have to go into, the questions that you say I should ask a lawyer and everything.
But there's got to be somebody in your state that facilitates the closings because it's not like just private lawyers and like they do it by the seat of their pants. Someone's still got
Gotcha.
to organize it, and there's got to be a business to do that because you got to deal with. There's tons of realtors that need the services. There's tons of
Hmm.
investors. So I promise you, there's someone that can help you out. These are the people that will help you tell you if you can do what I just said you can do. I'm pretty sure you can do it up in your state. I've never done one in New York, but seen people who've done it before. The second part of your question is on the follow-ups is sometimes I just follow up. Like if someone says, listen, I'll be ready in July. Well, we're in May now. So you're basically going to let 90 days go by. 90 days is going to be too long because you're going to get intercepted 9 times out of 10. Because they're going to talk to someone. They go, yeah, this guy called me about buying the house. Guy goes, well, I'll buy your house. I'm like, okay, well, how much are you going to offer? And before you know it, in 30 or 60 days, he puts an agreement together with somebody. And we're like, wait a minute, you told me to call you 90 days later. Trust me on this one. Have a
Hmm.
reason to call him back in 30 days or 45 at the latest and go, listen,
Okay.
hey, John, you remember I spoke to you about a month ago. We talked about your house. I just want to make sure, was that a 3-bedroom or a 2-bedroom? So I ask him a question I know the answer to.
All
So
right.
it works on spouses, girlfriends, not really boyfriends, but the idea is you kind of go, yeah, I know that they know that answer. It comes right off the tip of their tongue and it conditions them to talk to you. And then once
Yeah.
you already know the answer because you care less what they say. You go, listen, why I got you on the phone? Where are you at on everything? See, as opposed to someone goes, listen, are you ready to sell that house? Are you ready to go? You said call me back in like the 90 days, 30 days, whatever it was, 60 days. I say, hey, John, listen, I just want to call on that house. Remember I spoke to you like a month ago? I was the guy who was talking about an offer. You told me to wait, call you back. And I had a pressing question. You mind if I ask you? Yeah, sure. It's a 3-bedroom or a 2-bedroom. They go, yeah, it's 3-bedroom. Why do you think other? Because I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking on that. Hey, listen, where you at on everything right now? That's it. You just set them up and do that. Otherwise,
Okay.
if you wait to 90 days, usually someone else will take the deal from you almost every time.
Right,
You're out of
right.
sight,
And
you're
that's
out of
what I don't
mind. You
want to
just,
happen.
yeah. And remember, the second time you call them, you're not the stranger danger. You can get past the stranger danger conversation. Like, remember, hey, remember, it's Mike. I talked to you like a month ago. Hey, listen, quick question. Was that a 3-bedroom or a 2-bedroom? As soon as they answer it unconditionally, I know I got them. Hey, listen, I appreciate that. Oh my God, thank God. I must have it written down on my notes wrong. By the way, where are you at on that property?
Gotcha.
That's it. It's an old trick. It works because whenever I used to call people and go, listen, I'm calling you back, told me 90 days, either the property is under contract or they completely forgot about me. So
Mm.
the first part of that question, you got to do a little bit of homework and find a servicing attorney or title company or combo to help you out. Because I promise you, with 20 million plus residents in your state, there's got to be a lot of people to service them. It's just
Right, right.
that's
Yeah,
just
like
how
I
it
said,
is.
I got all the code violations going and like got the probate, and now this will be my next step of checking out title companies. So I appreciate everything. And like I said, when I get my first sale, hopefully I want to do it with you and
Okay.
Zach and everything so I can get into Rick Plus and see you guys in October.
That would be great, man. Okay, bud. Good luck with everything,
Awesome.
Mike. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, man.
Take it
See
easy.
you.
Have a good day.
Okay, see you. All right. Okay, let's spin the wheel here. Edwin, you're up. What's going on, man?
How's it going, Rick? How's it going?
Good, man. How are you? What's going on?
Good. No, I just wanted to ask that. I commented down. I wanted to ask you that question. So, what are you and what are you and your team gonna be doing? Like, and sorry about that, my little girl. What are you and your team gonna be doing when it comes to wholesaling in Virginia after July? As in, like,
I saw your question bounce up. I just didn't. So I've read a little bit on it, but like, do you know the facts of the law? Like, have you read the bill?
um, I've watched the video where somebody reads through the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's basically like a licensing that you have to have, or like, and your team, somebody has to be licensed,
Yeah.
something like that.
So here's the problem, okay? Because and me and Zach do countless videos on this.
Right, right.
The state of Illinois has the hardest law in the books. You know that, right? It's black and white how they wrote their law. Like
Okay.
you do more than you do more than 2. I think it's 2 or 1. You have to have a license. End of story, or you're going to get fined.
Right.
So you know how long ago that law came out?
No, no, I'm not
So it's
aware.
been on the book 4 or 5 years now. I don't know
Okay.
exactly. I have to go back and look. Do you know not one person's ever been fined? How can that be?
And they haven't been getting licenses,
No, they don't. They don't pursue. They don't do any enforcement on it. Why?
even if it happens.
Well, it happens all the time, buddy. Because I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
I have partners in Illinois that I'm flipping property with.
okay.
Like, listen, I'm not telling you to break the law, but the problem is any state that tries to constrict your ability to enter into a contract
Right.
is fighting against the federal law. So, guys, we see this all the time in. I hate to use this analogy, but it works. So you know about the little green thing that's like illegal federally, but most states make it legal. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You're breaking the law, but people still do it.
Right, right,
It doesn't make any sense. I'm in the state of Florida. There's a damn dispensary every corner I go to. Like if I walk, I hit 5 of them.
right. Yeah.
But it's federally illegal and
Better believe.
prohibited, and you actually go to jail for it.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they disregard it? So here we are in Illinois. Hundreds of thousands of people are breaking this law on a daily basis. They just don't care. Why? Because the federal constitution very clearly states you cannot interfere with an individual's right to enter into a contract. You can't do it. If 2 parties agree, as long as it's legal and binding and lawful, it's fine. Now, Illinois wrote a very hard one, but they've never made an example of anyone, and we're approaching 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm not even worried about it. Number 2, if they did do it, it's never going to stick in the Supreme Court.
Right.
And I've been the one on this going out and say, listen, if someone gets nailed on it, I would love to have a law fund that all we have to do is have one person win the case and all these BS laws will go away. So
Yeah.
now the trend is they're writing the laws, but they're very vague. They all talk about the marketing and you can't advertise, you can't do this.
Right.
And most of them are written so loose, there's no way to enforce them. So here's what I suggest you do. And the next couple of weeks, Zach's really good at this stuff. He reads this stuff verbatim. Is read the actual the bill.
Okay.
Read it word for word and look at the words in there. And you're going to find, so I haven't read it in a while, but you're going to find a lot of the tricks they do is they try to minimize, you can't market or advertise or you're going to be held liable. Okay, well, then you just work around it. That's simple.
Right.
But Illinois put the hardest one out there. Not one person has ever been enforced. Does that make any sense to you? Like, why put a law on the books and then not enforce it at all? And to me, I think they do it to scare the crap out of people and discourage you. But they know if it ever got to the higher courts, it would never, ever stick. Now, I don't want anybody getting sued, and I don't want the federal government, not the federal government, the states going after you. But it's like like I can go across the board in the states. It's I think there's 9 or 10 states that have like ridiculous ones, but outside Illinois, they're all ridiculous. The Oklahoma one's ridiculous.
Right.
I could, Kentucky came up with one. I mean, it's almost read it word for word and you will laugh till you turn blue because, okay, so let me ask you, define what wholesaling is. What is it? You can't define it.
Right.
And here's the problem what we have with it is, as an American, you have the individual right to sell any property you want. Now, the assignability part of a contract, you know who uses assignability the most? It's banks and insurance companies. You'll never outlaw assigning a contract because they can't. Business would not function in the United States if they did it. So here's what I want you to do is read the law word for word. And if you want to start coming out here and putting quotes in it, we'll go through it. But the problem is, oh, I heard it's going to be illegal and I can't do this. All day long, and this is why gurus shoot these scary videos, and then they always have a solution to their problem, right? I have a training that will get you certified, so you don't have to go through this crap. It's ridiculous. So I wouldn't overly worry about it. I'm not telling you to break the law or do anything you're uncomfortable with it, but read it word for word, and you develop your own opinion. Don't let the internet tell you what to do, because some guru influencer is going to tell you, you got to do it my way, and then for the longest time, they're like, you need to join my brokerage to protect you. By the way, when you become licensed, you really put your butt out there. Sorry. Being a licensed like realtor, it's so I had a friend of mine, he goes, Rick, I'm just getting licensed. I can't deal with it anymore. I'm getting a lot of crap. I go, do whatever you want to do. He's had the license for 7 months. He's had to go in front of the board 6 times. 6 times.
Wow.
And for the stupidest things ever do. And here's the best part is your assignment fee. Once you become licensed and you're under the dual authority of a broker, your assignment fees are subject to if they're like in compliance or not. True story in Colorado. This is almost 10 years ago. I had a friend that he made $100,000 on an assignment fee. Now he probably should have double closed, but he was a licensed realtor. The other realtor put in a complaint, and then the title company put in a complaint. He lost. They took the $100,000 back from him, and he got rewarded like a $12,000 commission.
Wow.
I don't know about you, but like I don't want any of that crap people in my back pocket, because whenever someone has a problem with you, they're going to report to you. So I've always told the only person I answer to in my life is my mom. That's it. You can call my mom, but past that, good luck on who you're going to call. I don't report to anyone else other than my mom. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to be ethical, and I'm going to be fair. But just because you don't understand what I do doesn't make it illegal. By the way, I've had more realtors and more title companies try to report me because they don't understand what I do. My job, Edwin, is not to explain to people that are ignorant and don't understand what wholesaling is.
Right.
My job is to help out sellers. If I'm helping out a seller and then a cash buyer wants to take over my contract and I make a fee, that's the American way. And your United States Constitution guarantees your right. That's why I'm very confident when it comes to this stuff. And the fact that the state of Illinois in 5 years has not pursued one person, when I know I know at least a dozen wholesalers that do 50 plus transactions a year, though they could care less.
You
They
want
don't
it to
care.
happen. You
What's
want to
that?
see it happen, don't you? You want to
I,
see it happen, like somebody get convicted and then go to the
no,
Supreme.
I don't want to ever see anybody get convicted.
Well, I'm
But
just saying, like,
I
as
would
in, like,
love,
it's not gonna hold up.
I would love to get a case law. And
Right.
so, listen, if somebody wants to go after you, they can go after you. But like, if you really wanted to discourage it and your goal was to stop it, why aren't you stopping people from doing it right now? What the hell are you waiting for? And I don't understand it. The reason is their DAs and say, look at it, they go, listen, this thing's probably never going to stick if this thing gets pushed up. Now, most people will cave because they can't afford to do the lawyer. But what I would love to do is set like $100,000 aside and whenever, but like, here's the problem. In 4 years doing this, I can't find anyone who's ever had been chased down. I'm not talking fraud or stupid things, but no one's going after for any of these statutes. And until I see it, I'm not going to lose sleep over it anymore. It's ridiculous. And read the law. Do me a favor. Read it very carefully and use your educated mind and go, okay, and see it. If there's the slightest bit of gray area, just do whatever you want to do. You can't enforce gray area in a law. It's got to be black or white. Gray area means we want to discourage it, but we have no ability to enforce it. That's what it means. Illinois is black and white. People just disregard it. Even the title companies don't care.
Wow.
You think the title companies,
That makes me feel good.
I was the state of Illinois. I would use the title companies to police it. And title companies don't want to do it. They want to do as much business as humanly possible. They think it's a ridiculous law. So don't lose sleep, but read it. And if we need to dig into it further, because there's plenty of other states trying to do things, it's all BS.
I appreciate that. One other question.
Yes.
So I was wondering, how would you approach a seller and tell them about your service? I've seen the videos. I've seen your scripts and how to MCTP. But when it comes to the point of presenting you're a wholesaler, you're not necessarily the end buyer. Like, how do you do that? What's a good approach?
The truth? Like you're overthinking this.
So
you're talking about you want to approach a motivated seller and
tell the seller that I'm buying your house, but how do you explain your business basically? Like, I'm a business that
I'm looking to buy your house. You assess their problem, make sure they're motivated. And when you get down to it, the reality is you're probably looking to assign the contract, especially if you're starting out in wholesaling. There's nothing wrong with doing it. So the biggest thing is nobody wants to be a liar, right? It doesn't feel good. But if you go out and build a robust cash buyer list of people that actually want to buy the product that you are offering, and you take the time to build that list and build relationships, when you go out and meet with sellers, you're very confident that you can easily get their property sold. The problem is a lot of people go out there and they meet with sellers and they have no patience to deal with cash buyers, spend the time to qualify them and have them ready to go.
Okay.
This is why you need to do it. Number two, also you let them know, like, these are my partners. I work with partners. Your partners are your cash buyers because they're taking over your contract. You better have some inkling of a relationship with them before you throw that out there. Other than that, it's just a big fat lie.
Right.
And as you get better and more prolific over the years, you have the ability to take the properties down yourself if you had to. But I always work with cash buyers and I have them lined up to buy my assignment of contracts. Occasionally I have to double close because there's some weird thing that happens. As long as you're making money, who cares? But I would build a cash buyers list. These are going to be your partners. And then people always so worried, Rick, once I put it on a contract, how do I bring my cash buyer through? Go, listen, as I told you earlier, I work with partners. One of my partners are going to come through, actually probably a couple of them. And we're going to take a look at the house because they're a little bit more experts in certain areas. And they're going to come by next Tuesday. Is that okay? Yeah, absolutely. As long as you know them, they're your partners. You better know who you're dealing with. That's it.
Right. Okay.
So many people are so busy like trying to make up a ridiculous lie. They get caught in it. And when I tell you to be wholesaling, I had a decent credit score, but I had no money. So as a backup, this is way back, dude, 20 plus years ago, I got a pre-approval from like a Bank of America. Now, between you, I didn't have two nickels rubbed together to buy a house. But That was my like confidence shield. Then someone taught me how to go out and get cash buyers. So once I started taking things down, I had to build the confidence to talk to the seller. Nobody wants to lie to people, dude. I don't teach
Yeah.
that. You got to be like brutally honest, because the idea is if you get good discounted properties, you'll go find high quality people that have a lot of cash. They will love what you do. But remember, you got to get good deals. Otherwise, they're never going to buy them.
All right.
So be authentic. So if you're having a problem with the truth, go make your truth the truth. How do I do that? Work with cash buyers. Get ready to go.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's it. Like just, and if you go, well, I don't really have cash
I'll
buyers,
work with
okay, we'll get
partners.
to work. If you
I'll
get to
work.
work, it's not a lie, right? I'm not looking for anyone to lie. But if you're going to put it under contract and you're going to do nothing and you're going to let it expire after 30 days, I don't want you writing the contract. That's why we want you to go out and work with cash buyers. And the cash buyers is not just scraping email lists, stuff like that. You actually got to call people and talk to them and go, listen, hey, I'm a little bit new to the business. I'm working this area. I got a couple buyers I'm working with right now. I'm just looking for cash buyers that want to buy in this area. What's your price range? And if I get a deal, how soon can you move? I don't even ask for the proof of funds from the cash buyers up front anymore if you're brand new, because if you call me, Edwin, and you go, hey, listen, Rick, I need a proof of funds before I can work with you. I go, hey, Edwin, send me an address. I need to know you're for real before I send you my personal business. I go, listen, I get it. I'm busting my butt right now. I should have something by the end of this month. If I do get this property and I call you back or I text you, is it okay to ask for the proof of funds then? Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that.
So it's
I
better
got
to
tired
build
of
a
sending
list.
I got tired of sending would-be wholesalers my proof of funds. And
Right.
then they took my proof of funds out there and they used it as their like validity point. And then once you have a proof of funds, now you have real credibility that you can work with people.
Okay.
But you got to make the magic happen by talking to the sellers and by building your cash buyers list. Make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
man. Okay. I'll talk
Appreciate
to
it.
you about it. See you later. Okay. Jordan and D, what's going on?
Rick, Ginn, God bless you, man. How
What's
you
up,
doing?
buddy? How you doing?
I'm well. I'm well, man. How you doing?
Good. I like your hat.
Thank you, man. Big smiles everywhere, man. How you doing though? How's everything been going?
Listen, I'm above ground and living life, so I really can't complain. So I'm happy, man. Monday
Awesome.
to me is just like Saturday, just like Friday. I just like every day is a good day.
I'm tapping into that now. I'm trying to learn to enjoy all 7 days, not just the weekend. So yeah, that's a blessing.
I'm just trust me, dude. Like life's hard enough as it is. Yeah, like there's a lot of people that didn't get the ability to wake up and move forward today. So knock on wood and praise the man upstairs. What's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
I just wanted to ask you, what are some KPIs you go for, you're looking for when you first start out? Because me and my wife, we've been doing a lot of marketing recently.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't been having too much success, but I know it's a part of the process. All the hanging up, all the cursing out. I've been having a lot of fun with it, honestly. My wife has been a little bit more serious about it, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. I've been enjoying the process, but yeah, I've been looking for KPIs, things I should look for, how many calls I should be making, how many contacts I should be making, just things like that, so I can stay more focused, stay more in
So what
line.
type of list are you getting?
Code violations right now, mainly. I wanted to see. I also wanted to ask you, what should I stack the list with? Like, what's the most, I guess, profitable list to go with as far as stacking the list with water shut off or whatever the case may be?
So what kind of volume are you doing on a weekly basis?
Daily is probably around 200 calls. Last week we got 30 contacts. This week we aiming for 40, so 10 more on top of the 30 from last week.
Mm-hmm. And how long you been doing it for?
About 3 months consistently. I don't want to be, oh yeah, I started and then I stopped, because it doesn't really count, honestly, if you stop and take too much time off.
I got it. So which state are you in? You don't have to tell me the exact market.
I'm in VA, so I've been doing Henrico, a couple different other areas too.
And you got like some heavy hitters up there. So I know you have a good area. Actually, I worked with a guy. Actually, I've worked with 4 people now, all across the VA, and they're all doing exceptional. Started just like you. Went through their storms of the season. And one guy came out and met me in Dallas, and So we've partnered up on a lot of deals. He's
Mhm.
made me a ton of money, and he's so damn busy. He's like, he's working on like 12 deals right now. He's on this thing on a regular basis. He'll, you guys can look him up. His name's Ace. Just an amazing, amazing guy. Just need a little bit of direction in the right push, and he was off and running. And I've had multiple people. I don't know what it is about your market, but like, listen, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know. Number one, you need to get the highest and most motivated list. Are you doing are you guys just dialing on your own? You doing a multi-dialer or just single line?
Single line.
I can tell. So the idea is you want to get a deal where you can put a little bit money back so you can kind of 10x your effort. But I'm all about being conservative and like get some of that bread in before you throw it out the window type of deal.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Listen, the KPIs, you just got to look at it is like, what was my action for the day? How much action did we take? And did we even come close to hitting our goal? And that's all you got to do, because the biggest thing you got to have right now is consistency. It doesn't matter if it takes you a month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or a year. If you start to take the consistent action, you're going to come across someone that needs to sell their house. End of story. So many people overcomplicate this. I'm not going to give you a complicated KPI. If your goal is to make X amount of calls today and get X amount of contacts, either you're hitting them or you're not. And if you're not, take a look. Am I doing this the right way? Do I have the right list? And it's simple as that, because you're not at a stage where you're going to build up massive volume yet. What most people get in your do is they get 1 or 2 deals and then they go, okay, how do I like 10x this thing? I go, well, you're going to need a hell of a lot more volume. Okay, we'll get a triple dialer. Okay, we have to at least quadruple what your lead flow is before. They go, well, crap, Rick, the code violation list is only so big. I go, okay, here's the services you're going to point to. And then you're going to have to look at like 10,000 leads a month. And you're going to have to find a way for you and your wife to crack that. And if you can do that, then instead of doing 2 deals, you can do 4 or 5 and keep going from there. And then from there, like, you're going to grow that for 6 months to a year. Then you're going to reinvest back in the business. You're going to hire some people to help you out. You're going to even get bigger list. And this is how you build a business. But you got to crack the first code. Don't overcomplicate this. Crack down and make those calls. Fill up the government list to pull. You know exactly what I'm going to tell you to do. So you don't have to like overthink this too much.
Okay.
So you're doing code violations. What else?
That's it right now. That's right now. So I wanted to stack another list, and I wanted to actually which one
try
you
to
think
get your tax delinquency list. Not the easiest list to get in the world.
Okay.
And I also look into getting probates. It is much more of a niche list, and it's a very small list. Now, the good and bad with probates, when you get them, they are home runs. Like, they're like doing 5 other wholesale deals.
Nice.
Bad news is they do take time.
Right.
So if you start probates now, you got to give at least 90 days, and you got to be okay waiting 6 months to a year. But I've done multiple 6-figure deals off regular single-family homes. This is how motivated people were on it.
Nice.
You get people that don't want the house and they just want to get rid of it and get their money and move on with their life. So I love tax delinquency. They're a pain in the butt to get. And I would also, you can look at pre-foreclosures and look at, we already talked tax delinquencies and the eviction list. And I would stay right into that. The probates is not like, it's going to be like 40 or 50 leads a month. It's not a lot. It's actually kind of easy, but getting the list is like it's a little bit more work. You're gonna have to spend some time and energy on it.
I mean, anything worth having, you're gonna have to work for. So I totally understand.
You got it. So after that, take all those lists and look at the volume and just put them on a simple spreadsheet. And if you want to come on the next time, share me the spreadsheet and I'll show you how to work it. That's how I work with people in Flip with Rick Plus. I'm like, we come up with a plan. Some people are extremely limited with funds. Some people are limited with time. And some people have money, but no brains. And they all have a different little bit of a path, but they're all going to have to like really push it to the limit. So I like your attitude with it. You just got to stick through it. I'm going to be honest with you. The first 4 or 5 months I did this was not sexy. Like, everybody thinks like, oh, you hit it out of the park. I did the same crap you guys did. Just nobody recognized me. Listen, what are you doing when nobody's clapping for you? That's the name of the game. You think Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, when they were in their teens, people were like, "Oh my God, you're going to be the next greatest thing." Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. And you know what? It was probably the best thing that ever happened to him. Coach goes, "You're just not good enough." You know what he did? He went out and made it happen. And that's what you need to do. You're not getting cut from the wholesaling team, but the wholesaling team doesn't care if it's working for you now. You just have to keep pushing forward.
Absolutely.
So, but I do look at lists though, after about 6 months, if I'm not getting progress on a list, except for probates, I'm not an idiot, dude. I'm not like beating my head upside the wall. If
Yeah.
you've hit the code violation list for 6 months and not even slightly had a deal, maybe that list sucks. Like there are some counties where it doesn't work. It's rare, but it happens. But the tax delinquency list, the people are paying their taxes. Something's going to happen. The pre-foreclosure, they don't pay that mortgage, something's going to happen. So those lists are never going to change. So just add those lists on there, come up with a spreadsheet. Next time you want to come on, I'll be happy to go through them with you. And then we can really talk about KPI numbers.
I
That
would
make
definitely
sense?
take advantage of that opportunity, and I'll be here next time you come
You
on
just got to
live.
keep
I'll
smiling and dialing, man. Okay.
I will, man. I've been
You're
enjoying
doing
the
exactly what I
process.
did. I took a different route than you, but like, dude, nobody gave me the time of day in wholesaling for the first 7 years.
How did it feel when you finally broke through, when somebody gave you the time of day and
It was
actually
good,
talked
but then I had to learn the responsibility of money and I wasn't ready for it. And I
Mm,
had to go through. And you know what happens when you're not ready for it? People take it from you. And then you lose it all and then you find a way to get it back. See, wholesaling is a skill set. If you took all my money, everything out from me, I would go right back to work and I would kill it in 6 months. I'm not worried about it. I've done it already twice. I let my ego get in the way and I let my lack of education and money get in my way. And so I had to learn. And that was just God saying, "Listen, you ain't ready for it yet." And God
right.
goes, "Listen, I'm going to give it to you, but you didn't know that." Why do you think when people win the lottery, they all go broke? Because they don't understand. The way you treat $1,000 is the same way you're going to treat 100,000, the same way you're going to treat 1,000,000 and 10 million. It's a habit. Until you instill those habits, you will always struggle with money. In fact, part of getting financial free is understanding, number one, people just buy things to make themselves happy. And after a month or two, it never makes you happy. If it's a car, a boat, luxury item, a sofa, at the end of the day, if you can't accept what's inside of you to be happy in life, nothing's going to make you happy. And so I've watched movements of monks and all other people. They just live with nothing and they're the happiest people you ever meet in your life. So with all the crap I have, I look at it as like, I go, it's fun, but it's not me. And I'm okay with it. And if you understand that, like they go to these third world countries where people live on islands and they're the happiest people in the freaking world. They have a culture, they have family, they love each other. That's it. God put us on this earth. All this other stuff is extra, in my opinion. And we're all going to leave without it. We all came in with nothing and we're going to leave with nothing. You just kind of have the memories and the love that you have with your family. If you can use wholesaling to elevate everyone around you, it is the best way to do it. So don't
That's
forget
cool.
that. Just keep smiling and dialing. If I had to show you my story, you wouldn't believe it. Like I just sat there and grind for 7 years. Everyone's like, "What the hell's going on?" 7 years. I got so busy. I didn't know how to hire employees. I was just like so scared I was going to lose it all because I already lost it once before that. So just
Do you
keep
think
doing what
that's
you're
part of
doing.
your upbringing, or do you think it was not knowing what the next steps was? Because I feel like you were pretty business savvy once you started getting everything together.
I did, but I didn't, I trusted people with my money. I trusted a lot of gurus to help me out and they were all on the take. It's not that I like mentors that truly like want to invest in you and your business, but
Right.
most of them are on the take. And that's why you hear my tone with them. Why wouldn't you do what I do? I teach hundreds of thousands of people wholesaling and then they come back to me. I had a guy the other day, he goes, "Listen, I just want to send you a check." It was like $11,000. I go, "I don't want it. Donate it to charity. I don't give a shit." Like I want to help people. That's all I want to do. And I make plenty of money with what I do. I enjoy what I'm doing and I know how it feels in your shoes. And that's why I try to give back so much. And I taught my son how to do it and it was great. So that's it, man. Go out there and just add those lists and then work on a spreadsheet and we'll go from there. Okay.
I definitely will, Rick. Thank you for talking to me,
Okay,
man.
man.
Give me your time, man. Have a good one.
You have a good one, man. See you. So guys, listen, if you got value from today, do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button because it helps more people to find this channel just like you. people that want the truth and try to find out how to get started in wholesaling. And please make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'll be on tomorrow at 1 p.m. on Flip with Rick. Come on out, join me there. We got a really cool topic. I'm going to surprise you with it. So jump on tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. This is Rick Ginn. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so more people can find it just like you. I appreciate you guys. I will see you tomorrow.